All right, so the Bifrost is the hot location of the week, so that means you're going to have a 60% chance of seeing the Bifrost in your games. I'm going to show you guys 5 decks to deal with the Bifrost. 1 for pool 1, 1 for pool 2, and 3 for pool 3. Let's go. Pool 1. Basically what you're doing here is relatively straightforward. You have a kind of a standard pool 1 movement deck with the exception of Ironheart. Now the reason why Ironheart is so beneficial here is because when the Bifrost triggers on turn 4, the extra 2 power that you're being applied to the multiple man is going to pay significant dividends. So basically what you want to do is you want to get your Nightcrawler or your Iron Fist, whoever, out on turn 1, your multiple man on turn 2, and then your Ironheart on turn 3. The Ironheart's going to be guaranteed to hit the multiple man, giving it a 2/5, and it gets then bounced across the board by the Bifrost. And that's kind of the key element here. You also would like to see Hulkbuster being applied to the multiple man as well. So if you don't have Ironheart, you apply the Hulkbuster onto the multiple man, and then when the Bifrost pushes multiple man, there's a lot of value on the board. And that's pretty much the substance of this deck. You have the Heimdall on turn 6. Bifrost pushes one way, Heimdall pushes the other way. You're going to have multiple men all over the place, and of course the Chavez to help make more of a consistent draw. This is Pool 1. Pool 2, it's more or less a similar style deck. Once again, you have the Forge and a multiple man. Forge giving that +2 to the multiple man, coming in on turn 3, which allows you to take advantage of the play of the Bifrost. Bifrost is also great with Vulture, becomes a 5/8 basically right off the bat on the next turn. Really valuable play in and of itself. Hulkbuster once again going very well with multiple man, Heimdall, Chavez, and then you have the Iceman, a pretty good one drop here to help kind of like slow down the pace of the opposition. Iron Fist, obviously an absolutely fantastic card as well. This is pretty standard, very similar to the Pool 1 deck, allows you to move and take advantage of what's going on with regards to the Bifrost. The advantage of Cloak is you can play Cloak on turn 4, the Bifrost pushes the multiple men, and then you bring the multiple men back to the Cloak location and replicate them again. So there's a really nice combo with Cloak. Pool 3, Bifrost move. Basically, this one revolves more around Human Torch. I decided, like, listen, you can do the multiple man thing if you want as well. I mean, it's pretty cool too, but I mean, Human Torch, if you got Human Torch, that's what you want to use in Pool 3. You are also really going to want to use Dagger if you can. Dagger is absolutely insane with the Bifrost, especially as a hot location. Basically, anytime a card moves, when this moves to a location, +2 for each card the opponent has there, you can basically make very predictive plays based on what's going on to make some significant value from Dagger. Of course, Miles Morales, super valuable here. Basically, comes out as a 1 cost on turn 5, which allows you to play in conjunction with other cards. Polaris is great forced movement as well to get Morales out there as well. You do have the Heimdall Chavez package here again. So one thing I would suggest though is if you're kind of bored of like, okay, Alex, I get it, we're moving on the Bifrost. Well, why don't you switch things up a little bit with the last 2 decks here? Basically, you have Bifrost forced movement, and I really like this a lot. First of all, everyone's playing Heimdall, so you can basically counter Heimdall by putting Kingpin in an interesting location where if they play Heimdall and they push their units into Kingpin, then it's just big bad sad for them, right? So Kingpin's a really interesting card during the Bifrost kind of hot location. Again, Iceman, Nightcrawler, Kraven. Kraven's always fantastic in these types of lists because of the benefit he gets for any cards moving. Arrow is excellent forced movement, can be used in conjunction with Kingpin to forcibly destroy any card played on turn 6. Magneto can kind of push specific types of cards into more favorable locations for you while also defeating their movement to move, their ability to move. Just bear in mind, a major problem with Magneto is if they're playing Vulture is moved and then gets huge too. So Magneto can be a little risky. Usually you'd rather play Arrow on the Kingpin, but Kingpin in and of itself is a pretty sweet counter here as well. And of course you have the Enchantress, which is a key card you want to keep in Pool 3. If you don't want Enchantress, what you can do most definitely is you can also tech out the Iceman, tech in Elektra to take out the Human Torches. You can tech out the Enchantress, and you can tech in someone like Shang-Chi for when you get really big multiple men or really big Human Torches. You can basically punch them out, which is pretty good. Shang-Chi does not hit Heimdall, which can be a little problematic, but it will hit Magneto, of course. So you do have a couple options with this particular deck as well. Then you have the deck F the Bifrost, and listen, if you want to just F the Bifrost, you can literally just play Rhino or Storm, or you can play like Scarlet Witch. You can just correct the location, right? But let's say you don't want to correct the location and you just want to meme it. This is what you do. Basically, you play the Hood, Electra, Iceman. You basically want to be as disruptive as possible. You want to play the Black Widow into Widow's Bite to really stuff their hand to prevent it from drawing, and also you want to fill their side with garbage. This is basically what this deck does. They want to use like movement to their advantage. What if they can't really move anywhere? They got to play Widow's Bite on the board. You have Bucky Barnes Carnage, which is a great combination, but specifically because you're more likely to Viper the rocks from Debris. So Debris comes out on turn 3, throws some rocks down. You have the turn 2 Viper in conjunction with the turn 2 Carnage to clean your rocks, or to Bucky Barnes. So like there's a lot of value here. You can also turn 1 Hood, turn 2 Viper, kick the Hood over onto their side of the map while you get the Demon. There's so many ways you can really obstruct their play. Deathlock is fantastic for making sure that the rocks played from Debris do not impact your board. You also have the Kingpin, which basically makes their turn 6 Heimdall play super suspect. They're not going to want to do it. And then of course you have the Doc Ock on turn 5, which basically forces their entire board, hand onto the board, which basically makes so they can't move and can't really do anything. You stuff their board, and then basically you trade effectively with that stuffed board on turn 6 with Spider-Woman. So this is basically like a deck where I design like, you know what if you just hate the Bifrost and you want to straight up counter everybody without the Scarlet Witch and the usual suspects? This I think is a cool disruption deck that really makes movement decks hard to deal with, because like they're like, hey, there's Kingpin out there, there's a Hood that got kicked over, Debris put rocks everywhere. Where am I supposed to move? I can't move anywhere. I guess I'll lose. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Got another video down below. Hope you enjoy the hot location, and we'll see you in that next Marvel Snap video.